Yes, it's about that time again. It's your host, Distrolord. Distro chat about to start in a few seconds. I want to thank everyone that's been tuning in to my series, Distro chat. It's been very, very, uplifting and happy thing, man. So hold on a second. Getting some people in the room. Hold on a second. There we go. See Roy Flush is in the building.
Yeah,
Flush!
what's up with you, boy?
Flush, what's up, brother?
Ain't shit.
Yo, man.
Crazy.
Man, listen, man. I think we all looking crazy right now, man.
Whoa.
I think we all. This is crazy times, but I think we New Yorkers, so I think between me and you, I think we kind of already. We're pandemic proof in a weird way because we kind of already been living this type of life. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
You know what I mean? It's just for the masses, it's just kind of a little bit different. You know what I'm saying?
No, I had to get up with you. You know, I really didn't do too many interviews, man, on this quarantine shit. But yeah, I damn so wanted to kick it with you, let the world know what's going on with me.
Yeah, man. First and foremost, congratulations on the anniversary of your album, man. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Would you like to elaborate a little bit on it for the viewers, for my new viewers? You know what I'm saying?
Well, basically where I started from, how I got in the game, or whatever.
Well, let's talk about your project. The singles that came out. It hitting its 20 years. I think that's big in itself. It's a big accomplishment, especially in the hip hop game at this time.
Yes, I do too. I mean, I've been through it for a minute. I started with Mike Geronimo first, and then I threw out a single. I did it was me, LES, my cousin Randy. He was getting locked up. He was going to jail, and LES came to the studio and played this beat. It was the Worldwide, and I really didn't like it at first. But then my cousin was like, "Yo, please just do the song for me before you go in." And I was like, "Well, shit, what I'm gonna talk about?" He's like, "That LA shit, man. How they just shitting on us." And that's how I came up with Worldwide. Worldwide was dope to me. Ice Down Medallions, N.O.R.E, so
How'd you get that beat from Easy LP?
When he was doing Mike's album, he did a couple for Mike, and then I went to the studio. He was playing something. Then he was like, "Yo, I got something for you. So he played it. I was like, wow. And he said, but we need somebody on the hook. N.O.R.E had a little name, but he wasn't all the way, out like that yet. But he said, nah, the kid N.O.R.E voice, man, it was unbelievable. And, then I had went through Capone. Capone was locked up. And me and N.O.R.E got up a lot of times, one-on-one, just kicked it. Then we met in the studio and knocked it out.
So Worldwide is what the Coke Boys revamped, right? The sample and all that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Rest in peace, Chink Drugs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he paid homage though.
He definitely did. Yeah, definitely. He definitely showed you love. He posted the original on the page. That meant a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been in the game for a minute, man. So I got a lot of respect for that and that. But I am where I am now, man. Make it so far, so long. I'm happy.
That's what I'm trying to say, man. Like a lot of our peers, man, they don't really get the admiration. You know what I'm saying? So when we do get the youngins showing us love, they're just doing their homework now. I think a lot of the young guys are not just coming back like, yo, who made this and who did that? So I think it's a good time in hip hop because it's coming back to that real shit. I think a lot of people are just kind of tired of the whole, it's been played out. Like you're in a quarantine. You can't talk about being in the club. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't talk about these things. You got to talk about real life. And I think, you, Traj, Large, y'all never strayed away from that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all always stayed into that like real hip hop shit and it was big. Now look, so since we're talking about Flushing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to talk about what the Busy Bee Mall and the arcade across the street meant to dudes like us in Flushing.
That's big, man. I mean, Flushing is crazy. I try to explain to people because I go to I'm from Flushing, but I can go to any hood. I can go to Queensbridge, I can go to Bronx, I can go to Brooklyn, anywhere. But growing up in Flushing for me was like crazy, man. It was like it was if you had to witness it, man. Like I can't even explain to people because nowadays people just think it's Chinese or Oriental. Nah, my nigga, I can't explain to you what Flushing was, man. Growing up, having to go to the Bland, having to go to Lattimore, having to go to Sanford, having to go to 41st, having to go to Palm Beach, having to go to Colden, Franklin, Ash. You know what I mean? Sanford, whatever it was, man. We was about that shit, man. We lived that life, man. We was fly. We was fly. We was the flyest niggas in New York, my nigga. Like we was getting money. We started a lot of shit, man. We started a lot of trains.
And all I always knew that was when I was in junior high school, all the little young dudes that were doing their little business, they knew who Royal Flush was. So like, yo, Flush. I was like, who is this Royal Flush guy? You know what I'm saying? So the younger kids, they knew who you were already. So that was, for me, it was like, so when I met you, I was like, oh, this is Flush. This is the guy they've been talking about for years and all that. Can you talk about like old stores we had on the block, like Nobody Beats the Wiz and Barnes and Nobles and Stearns and Alexander's?
I can go back when we had two movie theaters. I think it's RKO, TKO, or something like that, right on Sanford. Then the other one was on Northern and Main Street. I mean, I'm from Super T era. I'm from it was crazy from Queens Day. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, Western Beef. You know what I mean? King's Diner. Like I am Flushing, man. I went to 214, 24, 237. I mean, John Baum, Flushing, whatever high school, man. Like I did it, man. Fuck that. Flushing is it. Oh.
Yo, the one thing I can say about you is the list of people you have worked with. You know what I'm saying? From ODB, rest in peace, to Big L, rest in peace, to like all like these legends. Like, you know what I'm saying? Man, I could continue on. Large, Mike Geronimo, fucking Mr. Cheeks. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I started with the rest in peace people. Like I did songs with Big Pun. I did songs with Old Dirty Bastard. I did songs with Big L. Did songs with Guru. Did songs with Sean Price. Did songs with Prodigy.
Can you talk about being in the studio with Big L and how you met Big L?
Well, I mean, you know, I'm trying to keep it clean, but you know, I had a different life, you know, before music. You know what I mean? I was in the street, so I was known for something else. You know what I mean? So that rep kind of brought me over to make it kind of easier to deal with my peers in music because they know how I handle myself in the street. So, you know, once I started rapping, I knew about Big L and his brother, you know, with little businessmen. I used to have to meet him at McDonald's to do a couple of things or whatever. So, when you know, once he was in the music, then I got into the music with Mike Geronimo. It was just nothing for us to click up, you know what I mean? I went to Harlem, and we just did it. We whatever, man. That was my man, whatever.
So I was in the studio with Ben Grimm a couple weeks back, and he brought back a story about that, how you brought Meyer Carey and ODB to the studio one night. Like they just came and you was just like helping Dirty with lines and giving him concepts and he was saying like people love working with you because of your energy. They say, yo, Flush brings a lot of happy energy in the studio. Like when you in the lab, it's like, yo, people just want the verses come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean I think a lot of people I did songs, but even into the new songs I got now with like Uncle Murder and stuff like that. I go to the studio. I'm definitely not a person where you email me and I email you. I try to get in the studio with you so we can vibe it out. You know what I mean? But yeah, when Dirt had came home and he signed a Rockefeller, Dame Dash, and I have, you know, I dealt with his management, so I used to just, while he was writing, I would write a couple things with him. And Mariah and them had came to the studio that night, and he was a little stuck with writing a rhyme, and I just wrote some crazy shit for him, and that was it, my nigga. And I was like, me and him stuck like glue. Mariah looked at me a little different, like she wanted to kiss me, but I wasn't with it. So it was a comfortable night.
Man, that was crazy because from those sessions, you know what I'm saying, from those sessions, you know, down the line he passed away, and I did the deal with Rock to do that Old Dirty album. So I said, so when Grimm told me that story, or when he told me he was in the studio with y'all, I hit you up like, bro, what's up? You got some verses? You know what I'm saying? And So when you see that Osiris album, bro, you know what I'm saying? That's you, because it's like you had an early Mark Ronson, you know what I'm saying, producing on that. Like before Mark Ronson was even big, one of the beats that Mark, you know, did the beat over was one of the tracks that you brought to the table. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. Then
So
now I'm thinking about it, nigga, you was around for that whole Dirty Bastard.
yeah.
You go to the little studio in Northern Boulevard.
Yeah, exactly. Mega Bucks joint. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You was with us every night. That's true.
So it was like that's for me, as like I'm trying to say like, yo, you know what I mean? That was his last kind of like official album, you know, with that Premiere and Little Fame and all that. But for you to like bring those vocals in, I think that completed Dirty's legacy and that project that we were supposed to put out. So you know what I mean? That I always, you know what I mean? Like I said, like your pen game is crazy, and then like I said, when you go in the studio, like you said, I could email you a verse, but you want to be there. You want to know.
I want to vibe with you. I want to drink with you. I want, you know what I mean? I want to get to know you better. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
This way, the music will come so genuine. It's easier for me if I got a good vibe with you. I don't even got to write. I can just go in the booth and that's it. You got me, Holy Ghost. You know what I mean? But when it's songs like that, I got to sit there and write. Sometimes you don't like the beat. You know what I mean? But when I go in the studio and I vibe, man, I knock it out, man. I say I haven't even wrote a rhyme with pen and paper in maybe like 15 years. So all I do is I go in the booth and whatever storyline I think of, I already got a movie to it.
How was it to be in the studio with Pun? Because I heard a lot of stories about Pun, like him being in the booth, man, like just going in there, piecing it up, and that shit sounded amazing.
Oh my God! Like I didn't know because we didn't have Pro Tools, so it was more like when you stop, you got to cut the reel and pace it. So you'll sit there. It probably take him a half sometimes. You know, or sometimes he'd go in there. He didn't smoke or nothing yet. He can get the whole shit out. And sometimes, you know, he'll take the punches, but it could be 30 punches. But as soon as that shit is done, you be like, wow, who the fuck can breathe like that? Who can rhyme like that? Unbelievable. He damn sure going to the studio with Pun was like, let me know, like, God damn, all right, cool, you got it right, boy. You know what I mean? You got to get it together. Well, at that time, Pun and N.O.R.E was hot, and I was a little under them, so I was like, oh man, I got to go in. But yeah, they held it down. And Pun, when he came and did the song for me, he was like, yo, Fudge, you the only person I'm really doing features for. I'm not doing no more features with nobody. I don't even like niggas no more. I'm only doing bars. So I was like really one of the last features and shit with him too.
Outside of you know, the project hitting 20 years and all that, what do you have else in store that you cooking up that you can tell us? You know what I mean?
I got a single out. You know, right now I'm just throwing a couple singles. I got the single out right now with me and Tragedy.
Okay. Trash get better ASAP. You know what I'm saying? You know, prayers for the whole Ramadan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm working. I got a bunch of projects. I got a lot of producers. You know, for the new album, I lined up with I got Pete Rock. I got Large. I got Tip. I got ELPEE. I got Buckwell. I got LES. Like I went through that. Like being that I'm trying to show a lot of these young dudes, you know, a flow is a flow. You know what I mean? And the same way I can take their beat and do it. A lot of them can't take a Pete Rock beat or a Premier beat and rhyme to it.
It's kind of hard for them. It's kind of hard.
They can't.
It's kind of hard for them.
I could take one of them trap beats and body you on that shit because my life is real. So I'm not gonna just sit there and talk about money, cars, and jewelry. I'm gonna talk about getting shot, stabbed, and going to jail. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you a big difference between me and a lot of other rappers, man. I don't just rap to glorify life, you know what I mean? I tell you the good and the bad, even from the first album. My first album, I listen to it now, is Ghetto Millionaire, but it was a lot of cool tracks on there. I had a lot of Michael Jackson breaks. So it was like, you know, Still Came Home with a Shine. I gave you Family Problems. You know, I'm a rounded off dude when it comes to music, man. I'm gonna give you the good and the bad.
The one thing I could talk about Iced Out Medallions and that whole like era and shit is that you always had the crazy Cubans or the iced out Jesus pieces or the crosses and all that. Like, looking back now and how these kids now are redoing that same type of jewelry and all that, do you feel, damn, this is crazy how everything's kind of coming back full circle, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but even, you know, with that question about like how the jewelry is now, when I came out, you see me grow. You see me come from a little change to a bigger change. You seen the elevation. Nowadays, these artists come out and I never even heard their song and they got $9 million worth of jewelry on. I'm like, who the fuck is this? You know what I mean? I never heard your music. I never heard nothing. Where did that come from? You know, so I don't see the grind and the work effort in a lot of new artists as far as with the jewelry. I'm not talking about their music, as far as like the jewelry game or whatever. Because me, I like to see growth. I like to see someone, whether you start off bummy and now you rich. I like to see you live in an apartment and now you got a house. I like to see you in a Nissan and now you in a family. You know what I'm saying? I like that. I appreciate that. But you know, if I just meet a dude the first time and you know and he got it already, that's yours, bro. You know what I mean? So I like to see a person's accomplishment. Pardon me, I'm trying to roll this reefer up.
Yeah, especially like them doing media runs and the radio, and there's a lot of stuff that, you know, right now living in this digital age, they're not really privy to, like doing an in-store, doing a meet and greet. You know what I'm saying? Outside of just doing shows, you know?
Well, that's another thing with my era. Like I hung out. These kids nowadays, they got a cool kid. They got cool niggas with them, and nothing to do. So after a while, it just becomes violence. You know what I'm saying? So when I was out in my era, I used to take the niggas that was killing niggas and tell them we gotta go put up stickers tonight. So now these niggas can't go shoot nobody because we on 42nd Street putting up my stickers. Or we had to, if I had a show, we all had to go. Or we had to just push billboards up in the air. Whatever it was, I kept my crew busy to let them be a part of it somehow. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people now, they come out, you got a crew with you. All of y'all's not getting the same money. They not getting no money. That's where the hate and the jealousy come in. You know what I mean? I always, anybody around me, I like to see you up too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Because like my dad always said, your team got to eat with you. You know what I'm saying? If you doing good, your team gotta be with you, because people start feeling a certain type of way after a while, you know?
But I'm not mad. I'm not mad. But I also, you know, and like I used to tell my niggas, I'm like, listen, sometimes you ain't gonna always have what a boss has. If I got a house and you got a condo, you good, nigga. If I got a
got a condo, that's better.
You good.
Exactly.
Oh,
you got something, and you put it in, and you put it in your work, and you put it in your work.
Don't hate.
Exactly, man. Yo, man. So last thing, man. Man. What made you like know that, yo, I'm gonna be a rapper, I'm gonna be an MC, I'm gonna really take this to, like, what was the one thing that like changed everything? Like, shit, I got this, I can do this now. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't believe in it. What I do is we used to all sit in my building, 4415 Colden, and when we sat in my building, you know, crackheads would come through. So we have a whole story. By the end of the night, we'd sit there and we'd drink some 40s of St. Ives and we'd roll up and somebody would do a beat on the window. And I would just tell you the whole story of what happened that night. I'm like, oh, crackhead came, he got shot, this one got smacked. So I would just freestyle and put the whole. I knew I got it. One day we played that shit back and I was like, wow, I didn't even know I said all that and put it together like that. And I was you know, and then also living in Poland, I was able to go up the block. You know, like I said, I was a street dude. So I went to Carlisle, I went and hung out with Lord. You know, I met Pete Rock, and you know, I knew Nas from Queensbridge, you know, Human Brain Wiz, but you know, Nas was up there, Tip was up there. I met a lot of artists, so it was kind of easier for me to get in because all I had to do was talk the shit that I did last night.
How was it meeting like a young Nas at Larger Studio and shit?
Dope.
Like, did you know, like, before Nas, all the shit happened, like, did you know Nas was gonna fucking be big? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you met him, you were like,
I think when I heard I think it was Back to the Grill Again remix or something. Like I knew I never heard nobody rhyme like that in my life. Like I knew it. People wasn't even putting words together. Like, I was a hustler. But then, you know, like in my era, so it was like a tragedy. Tragedy was a hustler, but then he has, you know, a lot of intelligence.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
Nas
knowledge
put not
yourself. Yeah.
yeah, so Nas put like a lot of my shit in trash shit. Like not to say he copied us, hell no, he's gifted. But the type of thing you was talking about, he manifested to make that shit comfortable for the world. And the way he put his words together is unbelievable.
Man. Damn, like I said, man, thank you, man, for your time, man, for all this flush, man. I know you're busy working on a bunch of projects.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
let's
yeah,
let's
yeah,
tap
yeah.
back in. That's why I hit you. You know what I'm saying? Let's tap back in on this shit. Because I think right now
Definitely.
the youngins are really like, I'm telling you from experience, the youngins are looking up to us now. Because they don't know this hip hop shit. So they coming at me like, yo, do you know, was you there? I was like, was you there when Biggie was? I was like, nah, I wasn't around when Biggie was. You know what I'm saying? I was around that. You guys were. So I'm just
Yeah.
kind of like bridging you guys so the new generations know who you guys are now. You know what I mean?
I mean, but we always respected artists that came before us, man. Or like on my block, man, I would sit in my man Beanie crib, rest in peace, and we would listen to De La Soul, and we would listen to Tribe Called Quest. We loved it, we respect it. I think nowadays people listen to what they want to listen to. They don't listen to the big part of music. They don't listen to everything going on. They just listen to us directly. That's why everybody sound the same. But yeah, man, I
Yeah, we
definitely.
wasn't, and that's the one thing. Being in the studio with the young dudes, I kind of just be like, don't take off the auto tune. Like I have to coach them to do this shit right. Like, but we got to do it. You know what I'm saying?
We got
We
me,
got to do
but
it.
and in my era too, we never wanted to sound like nobody. I didn't want to sound like Kobe
Never.
Rap. I didn't want Rakim's voice. I may want to spit side of some of the shit they say, but I never wanted their voice. Nowadays, everybody sound the same, man. And I think you got to have some charisma, some type of style with you. Everybody's the same to me.
But that's what makes you different when you have that. That's you. That's what you bring into the table, not what Travis Scott or any of these other dudes sound like. You know what I'm saying? Travis Scott sounds good because Travis Scott found Travis Scott sound. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Right.
That's what separates him from all these other people, the baby and all them. You know what I'm saying? So that's the one thing about, like I said, like you never ever, you sound like Royal Flush. Your voice, your cadence, the beat selections, that's you.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I'm saying?
some of these old rappers, they need to listen to the baby. You know what I mean? They need to listen to Gunna. Like those are artists from down south that that are dope to me. That talk that shit I talk. That talk that street shit. Talk that fly shit. You know what I mean? And they talk about what you go through. So I like some artists out there. I ain't gonna hold you up, man. Some of these new artists is dope to me,
Nah,
man.
they're dope. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like what you're saying in regards to everyone sounding alike.
What's
Because,
it like, bro?
like I said, in our era, man, that was a no-go. You couldn't reflip at the same sample someone flipped. There was a lot of rules that we had, but now those rules are kind of like you know, it's kind of open season. You know?
I mean, it's the internet. Like I said, you ain't got to come outside. All you gotta do is go viral. All you gotta do is be in your crib and try to hang something up and fall and bust your mouth open, and that's it. You viral. You
That's it.
somebody now. You on you on Wildin' Out next week. You got a reality show next week because you done shitted on yourself some motherfucking way in the streets, and you got 1 million views. So now you're a star. Fuck out of here, my nigga.
It wasn't like that,
Like
man.
that.
It wasn't like that how we had it. It wasn't like that. But like I said, now that we have this shit, we gotta just take advantage.
Like if nowadays in
I mean,
my era, a lot of these rappers when they came out, you wouldn't have seen none of these rappers in the tunnel. They wasn't coming out, man. We was outside. Yo, give me a light.
we'll talk about we'll talk about the tunnel in our next show, bro. In our next episode,
hey, everybody, this is just part one. You know what I mean? I know it's a Friday. Everybody's just getting back to their shit, about to get dressed for the night, and have their own house party. You know, listen to fucking D Nice or somebody. Hey, I'm loving D Nice, but he got to stop playing all too many Stevie Wonder songs, man. Got them play a little bit of some new shit.
All right, Flush, man. Thank you for your time, man. Always, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
What's your social media so everyone knows can tap in with you in the social media and shit?
It's Roy Flush, and Twitter's the real Roy Flush. I'm regular with it, man. Like I'm here, man. I'm here. Right?
Okay.
And I show up to everything. I support everything. I do a lot of features for a lot of new artists. You know what I mean? I'm here, man. I'm here. I'm a governor of Queens, man. So it's not just.
Oh yeah, hold on. Yeah, that's the last thing we'll talk about. Then we can get off. All right. Quarantine, right? The fake governor, Governor Cuomo, you know what I'm saying, extended this shit. If Royal Flush, the governor, what would you mandatory put in? You know what I'm saying? Because we outside with it. You see, I'm not wearing. The only time I wear a mask is if I go inside a store or grocery. But I'm not wearing that shit. That shit's not good for your health. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't know what to say.
Because you're the real governor. You're the real governor, man.
I mean, I'm about health. Because one thing when I do, I look at the news. So what up? Where you going, yo? Oh, one thing about that, when I look at the news, it's like you see he's saying clear it up, and then you'll see 300 people died last night. You know what I'm saying? So shit like that makes you think about it, man, because health is everything. I mean, people are dying from that shit. People are dying. I'm here. Fuck it. If God sent it that way, it was gonna happen that way. So fuck it.
Exactly. All right, Flush, man. Like I said, man, our next go around, I got some more questions and shit, and let's work on some new joints. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like we always do. All right, brother. Yo, man, thank you for your time again, man. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Royal Flush in the building. Just your chat. Follow him at the Royal Flush. You know what I'm saying? Y'all show love to him. You heard?
Hey, drink privilege. This is good for you. I get my bottle. Love is love.
All right, brother. Love is love, brother.
Peace, family.
Peace.